Good morrow, scholars. Welcome to a series that I'm hoping to use to highlight some various lightsaber combat groups here on YouTube. Depending on how I ramble, as you should well know by this point, I'm hoping that these videos can at least cover one or two groups. In this particular one, however, I'd very much like to talk about TPLA, the Terra Prime Light Armory. Used to go by the Lightsaber Academy, but once they started doing reviews for various combat gear, different sabersmith companies, they changed the name to kind of branch out more on what they were doing than what they initially went out for. But they're one of my favorites. I'm currently a member of their TPLA Learners in Exile Facebook group, and basically what it is you study the videos, you kind of keep up with the content as it comes out, and you record your steps through the curriculum. You submit it to them. I forget what website it is. Dang it. Oh well, I'll put it down in the description unless I forget. So remind me. And they'll go over whatever problems with your footwork or the actual technique itself. You know, if you can't quite get into the correct position for the guards and whatnot. And one of the reasons I really like these guys, though, is they've been at this for a really long time. So they've got most of the forms, quote unquote, pretty much squared and ready for you to kind of dive in. Now, they do have a certain order that they want you to go in, but if you're not a part of the group, if you're not trying to be a member, you don't have to follow it, but I found that it really does help with their particular, because each one builds on the one that came before. So while you could skip straight ahead to, say, Gemso
Form 5, which I've previously likened to a German longsword fighting. You can do that, but you'll also miss out on some of the finer techniques that would have been built up in, say, Form 1, Shicho, which I kind of liken to the Chinese Dao, that particular brand of sword fighting. So yeah, they're actually the reason why I started looking at real world sword techniques and kind of trying to figure out how do you say, some influences that might have been used when creating these lightsaber forms in universe, out of universe for us to use in well, I guess just in real life, because I don't know, would you want to classify these as martial arts? I would assume so, even if it's just with a lightsaber, quote unquote, because, you can't kill anybody with these unless, you're really trying. Anyway. So, Terra Prime. They've got videos on pretty much every single form from the Star Wars universe, 1 through 7. Xi'an and Vapad, both subsections of their respective form. Xi'an is a subset of Form 5, and Vapad a subset of Form 7. And they've got plenty of videos on each of them. I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe that there are 4 different videos per form, with an introductory episode, essentially, before it. So, it's very in-depth, there's a lot to go through, but it's not
It's not so much an archive binge so much as it is a library. So yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Think of the Terra Prime Light Armory channel as like a real-world holocron from Star Wars. It has all the information in there that you need. All you need to do is figure out how to open it. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, I myself currently have not submitted any actual lightsaber work. However, I have gone through the first 3 forms in my spare time. And one of the reasons I haven't submitted anything yet is because although I do have a camera stand for my camera that's like, think over here, I don't trust it because, a strong breeze might knock it over. But also, it's very important to keep, in regards to Terra Prime specifically, other groups are a little less strict on it, but it's very important that they can see your feet to make sure that you're getting the proper footwork. Now, I'm sure you've noticed I'm quite tall. Think this is a life size cardboard cutout of Kylo Ren, and as you can see, I'm almost as tall as it. Point of reference, significantly taller than the Stormtrooper. I really should have worn my Bigfoot t-shirt today. Anyway, before I forget, it's very important that they can see your feet for the footwork. The footwork is really what they focus on most when you're first getting started in your lightsaber work. Mostly because Terra Prime mostly comes from real-world martial arts, and your footwork is literally the foundation of everything that you're going to build upon when it comes to executing these techniques properly. And so because of that, I'd have to be really far away from the camera, and 1, I'm afraid someone will steal it and I won't be able to catch up to them, but 2, I won't be able to tell when I'm not on camera anymore. And that's a big problem that I've noticed with some of the submissions, is that they will go off camera and it has to be rejected because they accidentally went too far out of frame. And so that's why hopefully Charlie, whenever he finally gets a day off where we can go spar, we can finally get those submissions going. Let's see. So what I would recommend, I forget which video it is, and I'll probably put a link in the description for it too, but it goes over what they feel is the proper way, like the proper order to review their videos. Like, obviously you go from Form 1 up to Form 7 in that order, numerical order. But each of those videos you watch all of their subcategories in a specific order, and I can't quite remember how it goes because they've got some interesting terms that I have yet to commit to memory. But you've got your introduction, then you've got a few different, what do you call it? Shoot. There's like a string of movements that you go through, and I can't quite remember what the term is. Oh well, I'll let Terra Prime tell you. I couldn't do it justice anyway. But you go through the introduction, you go through videos 1 through 4, you just keep practicing them, and practicing them, and practicing them, and then eventually, once they feel that you've gotten the lessons down properly and can execute them properly, I need to think of a different word. But once you can execute them to the best of your ability, they'll pass you on to the next lesson, which will be, going from Form 1 to Form 2, and then you do the same thing. You've got your introduction, you've got various guards that you want to go through, they've got certain videos for, dang, what's the word? I want to say it starts with an M, but it's like certain movements that you have to do in a certain order. It's a sequence of moves. I realize I just said this already, just with different words, and you just continuously go through them until you've gotten it down perfectly memorized, and then you move on to the next one, and then you keep doing that, and eventually they can allow you to use them as a reference for being a lightsaber instructor, which is currently what I'm hoping to work towards. If you guys have seen me and my friend Charlie fight, we're significantly slower than most people when they try and spar, but that's really more because we're trying to work on the technique rather than just bashing sticks together. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, this video went on a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Man, I really wish I could remember some of those terms. I guess one thing we could do before we go, since this video is already going to be late anyway, is I could just go on to their channel real quick. They have almost 24,000 subscribers, so that's really cool. They have 518 videos. Don't worry, it's not all entirely necessary. Alright, let's see, I am currently on here. Let's see. They've got 9 videos for gear. They got various workshops where they teach certain things that are actually pretty fun. I think one of the workshops, they teach you how to fight like Kylo Ren during the fight at the end of Force Awakens. Alright, let's see. Let's not have the sound going because that'll hurt. Okay, they refer to what I was trying to think of, at least in this particular instance, accelerations. Okay, so Form 1 has 6 videos on it. You've got the Formula Primer, accelerations, what they call a Dulon, the first set, velocities, a second velocities episode, and another Dulon. So yeah, technically 4. And you just kind of follow in that order. At each of those videos, you go over the content until you've mastered it. Then you move on to the next video, and then you do both, and then you move on to the next video, and then you do all 3, and you continue along until you've got everything down, and then you move on to the next form. So it's a really cool system. I really like it. They're incredibly informative. And again, they've been around for a while. They all have at least some years' experience in real-world martial arts, so I think that helps a lot. Don't let the number of videos overwhelm you. But they do a lot of in-depth critique, I guess you could say, of improper technique versus proper. And I think it'll help you guys out a lot. And hopefully in the next video, I won't ramble as much. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully I'll remember to put those links in the description. And until next time, goodbye everybody. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And I promise I'll get back to you eventually. I promise.